I have been promoting songs from a project called Metalkast on my social media and the channel since April of 2024. And that has led to this. The creators of that album, Metal Mike and Ryan, are here to talk the release of their first full-length CD, the self-titled 10-song debut album from Metalkast, coming up next on the Hair Metal Guru.
The Hair Metal Guru, from Warren to Crew. The Hair Metal Guru, never forget Charlie too.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru, and holy shit, I'm talking to a couple rock stars because Metal Mike and Ryan from Metalkast are here to talk about the newly released. Hold it up, Ryan. Hold it up, Metal Mike. The new, the newly
it's invisible. Oh, there it is.
Debut album from Metalkast. With that, guys, welcome to the show. Ryan, who is on most frequently, and my fucking bad, hasn't been on lately. I've been so crammed. But anyway, Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Metal Mike, we just did a Kiss ranking not too long ago. Thanks for coming back on.
Thanks for having us, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, what the fuck am I thanking you for? You should be thanking me.
Exactly.
Right. So hey, I want to start with this. How does this whole thing get started? I mean, Ryan's been, was appearing on the 80s Glam Metalcast for a long time. But at what point do you say, you know what? Let's start throwing some songs together and begin this process.
Go ahead, Ryan. How did it start? Enlighten me. I don't remember.
As the interviewer, I should be saying, let's start with. So yes, let's start with Ryan. That's my bad. Ryan, go ahead.
So my interpretation is Mike was working on the project Rock Soldiers, which has really, really good shit out there. Very good original stuff. And I was just constantly bombarding him with how great I thought the 80s Glam Metalcast was. And at one point I said, oh, by the way, check out my old band. Here's what I used to do. That doesn't exist anymore, but I sure like it and I sure miss it. Boom, boom, boom. He said, well, dude, if you ever want to like chime in on some, I write music. If you ever want to chime in, I'll send you something. You send me something back. Well, next thing you know, Heavy Metal Rambo comes up and I go, whoo, that is a riff, my friend. So it really started with Heavy Metal Rambo.
Okay.
We went back and forth. That's how I feel it. And then it just snowballed from there.
Okay. Metal Mike, what do you remember about this thing getting started?
Well,
and I think the main shit, or is that
yeah, that's totally all incorrect. No, I think basically what happened was we were doing a lot of episodes of the 80s Glam Metalcast together. We liked a lot of the same music. So, and he writes songs, he sings, I write songs and do all and play instruments and stuff. So we just figured it was just a natural thing. Let's try to put something together. I think one of the thoughts that comes to mind for me is like after I wrote the book, I kind of thought that A Hair Metal Journey on Amazon. When I wrote that book, I thought like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a soundtrack that went to the book? That was like their first initial thought, like throwback stuff back to MTV and Headbangers Ball and 80s movies. And I was like thinking of that kind of stuff. So that's where some of the subject matter came from, is like just, going back to my childhood of the 80s. So that's kind of the way I remember it. But you morph the stories together. It all makes sense.
So both of you guys had been in bands beforehand, right? Can you kind of just give people maybe a little bit of an idea of your musical history before this project started, Ryan?
Yeah, like it says in the promo for the actual album, is this is all I know. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it really is. I would never go beyond this rock genre, really. And so in terms of how I started, I just always have been such a listener and a studier of all this. It's just come out naturally. I had a band before locally in Santa Cruz, California, and the guy was obsessed with AC/DC, as am I, but it was a little too like early AC/DC. It was very simple, which I love. Don't get me wrong. And we made good stuff. But this was the wheelhouse I needed to be in. And I tell you what, there has never been an easier project to belong to than this one. I mean, riff after riff he would send me, and I'd be like, I don't want to work on it. And he'd be like, why? I'd be like, it's too good. I'm going to fuck it up. I'm not.
No,
and,
never.
then, and then we'd end up working on it, and then we would produce a cool song out of it. But that's how easy this was. So
Okay.
that's, again, my interpretation on the ease and the ability of this project.
Sure. Metal Mike, what kind of projects had you worked on before this?
Well, I started playing pretty young. I learned how to play bass probably when I was 12 years old. And then even shortly after that, I was starting like original bands and stuff just as a really young kid. So, I played in like thrash bands and all that kind of stuff in my early days. And then what happened to me happens to probably a lot of guys, well, the times change, you know what I mean? The scene was dying. You get a job and you get married and you have kids and just life happens. And then all these years later, you're like, my kids are a little bit older. I've got some more free time on my hands. And that's like when Ryan said, that's when I put together, I get the Rock Soldiers thing with collaborating with people that were all over the world, really. The people
Yeah.
from Australia and the Netherlands. It was, kind of stuff that just never could have happened back in the, late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and then it just, like we said, it just evolved into this project. So I was very dormant for quite a long time when it came
Yeah.
to like bands and
Yeah.
musical projects, but I was always writing and thinking about, getting something going again. So
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention is we did come up with, we kind of started with cover songs. We did,
oh, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
because he's got a buddy that wanted to do it as well, and so we did Girls, Girls, Girls. We did a Kiss song. What's the Kiss song name again?
Oh, did I?
Yeah, that
Yep.
one. And so I was the Paul Stanley version, and you were Gene,
Yeah.
and that was fun for me because I never really heard that song. What else? What other songs do we do?
All in the name of?
All in the Name of Rock. That was a killer one.
Yeah.
We we attempted Mr. Rainmaker and we ended up throwing in the towel.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, that was
tough. That's
that
tough
was
song.
that was a learning curve for me.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, so we did get going on some cover stuff that's
Okay.
out there.
Well,
Yep.
I remember when I heard you guys were doing this, and I remembered the first time I was gonna listen to Heavy Metal Rambo. And I'll be honest, I'm waiting for it to suck. I'm like, fuck. I mean, like, it's couple buddy, just like when you were in college and guys were like, hey, we wrote a song or whatever, and you're like, okay, really good. And when I heard that song, I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, why can these guys go out and write something that is reminiscent of the time, catchy as shit? I started putting it in my workout playlists, and so I just was. It was then that I knew that these guys are serious. Like, fuck, like this is not like some sort of joke where they're just throwing together some bullshit and running up the flagpole and see who salutes it. It was legitimately good. So from that point on, I was always invested in hearing what you guys did. So I want to go here now. How does the songwriting process work? Does Ryan do lyrics? You come up with the music, and Metal Mike, I'll let you start this off.
So different songs were written different ways is the only way I could put it. Like for instance, like Heavy Metal Rambo, since we're talking about it, I think that was kind of like my brainchild. Like I wrote a lot of that, but I'm like a half a song guy. Like I can write a verse and then I can write a chorus and then I get lost. Like I'm done. So Ryan comes in and he writes a whole verse, maybe rewrites some of my stuff. Then there's other songs like Too Far Away is a good example. It's the power ballad of the album. And Ryan just sends me like himself singing it. Like he wrote the whole thing and he's got all the melodies, and I got to figure out how do I put music to what he created. So every song is different. There are some songs where he wrote the majority of the lyrics and melodies, and I wrote around that. And there's times, like he said, I sent him riffs. He came up with material toward that. And then sometimes I write like a chorus and some music, and then he's got to come up with the rest. So I think we all had our hands in pretty much everything. It's just the process is very different depending on what song it is, though.
Sure. Was there a song that gave you the most trouble, or a song that was like the easiest one? Like, man, that came together simple. Like, Ryan, do you want to start off with that?
Yeah, I'll just real quick though. I just want to add like
Yeah.
the riffs he would send me. They were so quality. So a lot of the time I would say, what are you thinking for a working title, so I could at least have some kind of topic.
Yep.
And that would really, really help. But in terms of what was the one that came together so easy? Was it Your Last Breath? I can't remember. We were just gushing about it. Like, it was one of the last ones, and we were like, fuck, that was the easiest one yet.
Yeah, I think United in Metal, because some of the later ones, I think because we've been doing it for so long that they were just coming along pretty easy. But one song we struggled with was Human Zoo. We changed the key to it, and it was
Yeah, that's right.
re-recording a lot of stuff all back and forth. So there were some songs that were pains in the ass, but when it's all over, it's hard to really remember what, it all just kind of, it's a blur. It all came together, pretty decent. And it's like I said, there was a few hiccups along the way, but we got through it.
And
Okay.
the coolest part of this is to see someone else's brain working when it comes to this music, because there were choruses especially that I would have never thought of. Like, in my head, even if I had a title, it was completely different timing. I came in at a different spot, different structure, and he'd be like, I'm looking at it this way. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's so cool to see the difference of someone else's mind work and process this, because I'm like a very chronological person. And this, like, he'd have me come in at off times, and I'm like, whoa, I got to get my head around this first. Like, okay. And then he'd listen to it, and I like, Too Far Away is a perfect example of that. Like, my chorus for that was very like metronome, as you'd expect. And he's like, let's have you come in here. And I'm like, whoa, that sounds fucking killer. So it was really cool to see the creativity difference.
That's what's cool about working with somebody else. I think there's been so many times where I've written complete songs all by myself.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And they're not to say that they're bad, but there's like an element missing. When you work with somebody else, it's like he said, there's, we're throwing off ideas, we're rewriting each other's lyrics. There's just something about that, feeding off each other's creative energy. That's how you get the best product, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think happens with bigger bands? Why do they lose, like listening to you? And this is maybe off track, but you guys are talking about how great it was. You're bouncing. What happens with bands? Is it when money gets involved? What interrupts that process, do you think, Mike?
It could be money. It could just be you're out of ideas.
Yeah.
I think a lot of 80s bands are kind of stuck in like chains because there may be something that they want to do, but their fans won't really be receptive to it. You know what I mean? So, and let's give LA Guns for an example. How can LA Guns really recreate an album from 35 years ago or something, like, you know what I mean? That's not, how fair is that as a creative musician? You know what I mean? So we're guys like us could say like their new album, oh, it's 270s or 270 sounding. I want it to sound like the debut, but what does the artist want? And I think maybe now that I've created my own project, I kind of see how other people handle stuff a little bit differently. So
Ryan?
I plan on throwing him a curveball on record number 2. We're going full country pop. I'm over.
We're gonna get heavier for this next one. That's what every band did, right? The next album's gonna be heavier.
By the end of the album, did either one of you have a cocaine problem or anything? Okay, I want to ask this. Tell me about the production process, because I think at the beginning you had somebody else involved, right? Putting stuff together, and did that change? And I'll be quiet now, but tell me how like the stuff all got put together and everything.
Well, yeah, I was producing the all of it from the get-go, but there was another individual, Matthias, who was a great help. He helped us out for 5 songs. He did the drum programming, he did the rhythm guitar, and he did the lead. So that made my life a lot easier as somebody involved with this project. Now, this guy, all he does is sings, you know what I mean? He just sends me all these files with his voice, right? And then he's out. But no, so there was this, something like this is very time consuming, and sometimes people got other things going on in their life and they got to devote time to that. It's not like there's major money involved or, glory or anything. It's just, we're doing it for the fun and the love of the music. So like halfway through, we did hit a wall where we lost him. So we lost the drum programming, we lost the rhythm guitar, we lost the lead guitar. So we had a decision to make. We could say, well, we're done. It's an EP, 5 songs. It was fun. See you later. But we're knuckleheads and we're, boneheads. And we was like, we're going to keep going. We're not going to stop. We're not going to give up. So I played rhythm on all the remaining tracks. I took the old drum files. I chopped them up and restructured them so we could use them again for other songs. And then Ryan was really found a lot of people to help out with the lead. So we did hit a snag and something did change about midway through. But I think when you listen to it, I don't think there's any way to really tell that happened. So
Sure. Ryan, do you want to add anything onto that?
Yeah, the cool part was that a lot of these people were inspired by both the 80s Glam Metalcast and the Hair Metal Guru in terms of who we found. Derek, Vladimir, those two guys, that they were just guys that would reach out to me or you guys about your shows. And then so we would become friends on Facebook or whatever. Yeah. And both those guys were, so jazzed to play on it. And they're really, really quality guitar players. So that was
they did a great job. Everybody who helped out, and we got Chad who helped out with some of the harmony vocals and stuff. Everybody that helped out, well, I mean, God bless them. It was amazing, and it really added to the sound. So
awesome. Let's do this. Let's go through each track, and I'll and you guys can say whatever you want. You can talk about the process of making it, or just your thoughts about it. And I'll kind of go like Mike with the first song. He can start, and then Ryan, but you guys can both chime in however you want. So the first track on the album is Headbangers Ball. Mike, what can you tell us about that track?
That's a fun one. I think that's my favorite. I'm glad that it leads off the album. It's basically just thinking back to those old days of hanging with your buddies, watching Headbangers Ball, the excitement of the interviews and the new videos and all that kind of stuff. It's something that, yes, we do it, things like that on YouTube, but it was just something different about knowing that everybody was watching that night to see that premiere. So tried to recapture that kind of vibe, and Ryan's got a cool scream to start the song off with, and it's just a fun song. I really love it.
Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, that song said scream intro. That one spoke to me and said, this is the perfect build up with a very good Jeff Scott Soto. Afterwards.
Like, I just got kicked in the nuts.
Hey, who doesn't like a good kick in the nuts? I know. All right.
But, yeah.
Okay. Song number 2 is and it's always been my personal favorite. I loved the video that went with it, just the imagery. I think the background here, I should be shutting up. I should be letting you talk. But anyway, my personal favorite is Heavy Metal Rambo. And Ryan, tell us a little bit about that song, the first song that you guys did.
Oh, it hooked me big time. And that's the one that I shared because that was the only one for a long time. And it was like fully produced and ready to go. So I was sharing it with friends and everything. And they're like, wow, like this sounds legitimate. And I'm like, yeah, it sure does, But it was cool because exactly like Mike said, half of it was done. The riff was done. The first verse was done. And then I came up with that second verse, which was like kind of a Kane Roberts Rambo, obviously like the song Kane Roberts Rambo type reference and all that. So it was cool to see how our songwritings would come together at that point. And this is the first one that happened, but that song cooks, man. It's no wonder why it's your favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a couple cool things about it. I think it's got the best storytelling because when you really think about it, when I listen to it, and I've been listening to it a lot now that I have the CD, I have a CD player still in my car, so I listen to it in the car. But I do visualize this like vigilante rocker that's like wasting people, getting back at them for whatever they did wrong to him. It's such an 80s concept. And like when you listen to the lyrics, I mean, we threw in so many references. The Punisher, Marked for Death, Terminate, you know what I mean? First Blood. I mean, it couldn't get any more fun and more blatant than some of the shit that we threw in that song. So, and it's catchy. Like you said, it's catchy as hell.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, track number 3 is The Fighters. Mike, why don't you start that one off?
The Fighters. Cool song, man. It was one of those ones, I think I wrote the chorus and I wrote the music and then I handed it off to Ryan and he killed it. Cause I think the verse is so catchy. I like the verses better than I like the chorus. So well done by him. Just a cool, never give up, all American type of a song. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I like those songs like Back in Black and If You Don't Like It by Cinderella that are just machine gun vocals. They don't let the song breathe, but it's a good way. It matches it perfectly. It's a shame when either drummers or singers fuck up a song and fill it too much.
Yeah.
But this one, I like that. I like the way it plays out. And this one has slowly become one of my favorites. So this one, like it was one of the earlier ones.
Yep.
And I, as you go on and you write more songs and record more songs, you kind of forget and whatnot. And then this one snuck back up on me with the release of this album. So I really enjoyed cranking this one.
Sure. Okay, we got Too Far Away as track number 4. Ryan, you want to start?
It's his baby, man. Let him tell it. It's his baby.
This is we kicked around a ballad for a long time. Said, well, we got to have one, you know, and it's got to be the third single in video, obviously. But anyway, yeah. And I said, all right, well, and then it just kind of popped in my head, and it was frankly really easy to write. It probably came out in about 10 minutes, and it was just done, you know. And then I said, here you go. Here's the hard part. Write a song around lyrics and melody that exist already. And that's frankly really tough. So it's cool. And then like the end of the song, Mike suggested we do some other stuff at the end and like a little outro and some overlaid vocals. And yeah, at first I recorded it like Vince does in You're All I Need, where he's like singing full voice for a ballad the whole time.
Yep.
Was pretty high and intense, and then but we dropped it back down and we kind of layered that in.
Okay. Mike?
With that one, it's weird because I think if Matthias would have stayed with us, he was a piano player, a keyboardist. I really wanted that to have piano and keyboard in it. And then once he bailed, I was like, well, let's just do it with guitar because that's all. I don't know how to play keyboard. I mean, I can play a little bit, but nothing crazy. So we kind of revamped it. It's got a little bit more swagger, I think, with the guitar line on there. And I think the chorus is really big in Def Leppard-y. So, and Ryan is a big Def Leppard guy, as we all know. So well done, great track.
Hell yeah! Track number 5 is Theater of Glam. Mike, why don't you tell us about that one?
That's kind of going back to those titles of songs where I'm thinking like going back to my early days of getting into music. Theater of Pain, Inside the Electric Circus, you know. And this is like I do the majority of the vocals on the song, so this is kind of like my little moment to shine. We trade off like Paul and Gene would on this track, but I sing a lot of this track, and I really dig the intro riff. It totally sounds like either like Dokken or Rat or something like that. So it's just a fun song. And once again, just celebrating the heyday of hair metal.
Okay. Ryan?
Yeah, I love the trading off on this one. I thought his parts were great. It was cool to kind of do that. For some reason, it always gave me some kind of Dio vibe. I think it was one of the lines in like the pre-chorus that gave me some Dio in there. So it ended up being one of the stronger ones. I like it. It's definitely a Gene song.
But Metal Mike, you know, by album number 2, Ryan's gonna be like, I don't need you singing on any of the songs. I got the vocal part covered. Okay, you just play your fucking guitar and sit back and shut up.
In fact, I'm gonna go full Tim Scold. See ya, Zinny.
There you go. That's right. All right.
You know what? One thing we decided though when we were doing this is that like we didn't have any rules. So there could be a complete song where he sings everything, but then I just randomly pop in and sing a bridge or something. Like we did. That's what's cool about it. When you listen to it, it's like you're like, well, why did he sing that? And it's like we just did whatever we felt like doing. Like there was no rules. We didn't give a shit. Like there was no, you know, it wasn't that structured when it came to that kind of stuff. So.
And that's what rock and roll is supposed to be about. No fucking rules.
Just random. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Track number 6 is Human Zoo. Ryan, start us off.
Yeah, so this is another one that I had in the banks for a long time. Again, I kind of wanted to like change stuff and I started doubting myself because the riff was so good. And he's like, stop fucking with it. It's fine the way it is.
Yeah, he wanted to rewrite like the whole thing. I'm like, no, this song is good, man. Don't touch it. Just do it the way you had it originally. So
yeah, but yeah, I had this one for a long time, but it was one of those songs where again, it just kind of like all spilled out. You know, when you got a good one going, that's the creative bug hits and you got it. It's cool the way it's layered, the way we kind of do some big Warrant gang vocals within the verse, and then each like kind of like teaser pre-chorus, and he did some really cool effects on it, and I think it's one of the stronger ones as well.
Yeah, I like this song. I don't really understand what it's about. But maybe he knows better. But I just like when I thought of Human Zoo, I put in a lot of like animals growling and all kinds of weird sounds and stuff. I think it's the weirdest most experimental, and not that it's very weird or anything, but it's the most experimental song probably on the whole thing. It's
Okay.
definitely cool.
All right.
Well, if you trace back to my Bon Scott era, it's Animal living in a human zoo.
Oh, so you
yeah.
ripped it off? No,
I ripped it off.
yeah, you
I
ripped off.
was going to
Amazing
ask, did you ever get done with a song and go, shit, we copied something?
All
right,
not
we
that
are
we
on-
know of, but it's probably we probably did.
Right. We are on track number 7. Don't Tell Me No, Metal Mike.
Don't tell me no. I think what the whole time when we were doing this project, we wanted something that wanted to do at least one track that was kind of poppier, really catchy, big, that kind of thing. And this is very like, 80s poppy metal with the keyboards and everything. So we were really shooting for something like that. It's funny because I think there has been so many instances we were like trying to write this, but we got that. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to like rewrite, I think, Easy Street by TNT. Yeah. This song sounds nothing like that. It's funny how like, either we suck at trying to like copy something and or it just mutates and turns into its own thing. But yeah, we were shooting for like a TNT thing, but it doesn't sound anything really like TNT, but it sounds great. So
okay, Ryan.
Yeah, I had the title in my notes on my phone as Easy Street Song for like 6 months, and then it ended up this. And I had a different pre-chorus, and we eliminated it, and I'm so glad we did. And the way that you sent me back the layered chorus as we were working on it, and I was like, fuck, that's huge. And this ended up being a lot of people's kind of favorite song on the album. It's pretty listenable for it's like the crossover track.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be a big hit somewhere.
In Indonesia?
Singapore, I think.
Yeah. I remember when Saigon Kick Water came out, and they released a ballad first, and they're like, well, it didn't do very well in America, but we're number 1 in Indonesia. All right. We are on to Your Last Breath, track number 8, Ryan.
Yeah, so this one is easy for me to write because, as you all know, I deal with a lot of this stuff in the professional world. It's about like opiate use.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I deal with a lot of that in my work. So it was easy for me to reach back in different emergency calls I've run on and be like, well, I've been in this alleyway. I woke up this guy because he passed out from fentanyl or heroin or whatever. So that's what this song is about. It's about usage. And so it's kind of like one of the Queensryche deeper songs we have on this album, because you know me, I'm not a deep guy. I'm about cars, chicks, booze, blah, 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 blah. Ryan Johnson is my guy. So, there you go. So when you're having me go down the Jeff Tate, that's okay. But it was easy, like I said. So, but in terms of the actual song, very, very cool riff.
Right, and Ryan is a firefighter who has to respond to medical stuff. So I just want to make sure if you're newer to the channel, if you didn't know that. So Ryan, that's awesome. He dedicates his career is all about helping other people. So very cool. And Mike's career is all about making as much money as he can and fucking over the little guy. No, I'm kidding.
One thing that you didn't mention, which I'll mention, this song. Okay, so let's set the stage. Motley Crue had just released the song "Cancel," right? And we both thought it kind of was not very good. I'll just put it in nice. This is nice as I can be about it. Yeah. Ryan's like, why don't we try to write a song that would be Motley, like a good Motley Crue song for Motley Crue or something like, just like a fun exercise, And this was the song that came out of it. Does this song sound like Motley Crue? Probably not. I mean, maybe a little, you know what I mean? It's got the vibe, but that's where this song originally came from, is because we thought that Canceled was not so hot. And we were like, we can do something that's more Motley Crue-ish than Motley Crue can. And we did Your Last Breath. So, and I like this song a lot. It's got a bite to it. You know what I mean? Like I said, lyrically, it's kind of dark. And I love the lyrics that Ryan wrote, and the riff is pretty, nasty and stuff. So yeah, it's a good song.
Okay.
I forgot about that. That was cool. Yeah.
All right, we're on track number 9, Party's Over. But when you're listening to this album, the party's never over. Just kidding. Metal Mike, what do you think about Party's Over?
Party's Over is a pretty cool track. I think we were talking at one point. We were like, we've talked about the heyday of hair metal. Let's talk about when hair metal starts to decline and what happened with the record labels and all that kind of stuff and grunge. And Ryan did a great job of I think this was kind of like an opposite of what we usually do. I think he wrote a half and then I wrote like a verse or something like that, or I rewrote some of his verses. We worked together on the words, but I think he came up with the main idea of the song. And once again, it's got a cool riff. I feel like I'm like a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like I'm like a wannabe Mick Mars sometimes. Like I try to rewrite like Shout at the Devil riffs, and I think this has that kind of sting to it. You know what I mean? With the riff, and but yeah, I love the direction of the words. The chorus is really catchy, and yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Good tune.
Ryan?
This one I feel like it's got a little bit of a you got another thing coming intro vibe to it. It for a song called Party's Over, it would give the feeling of like a pop metal song, but it's a full hard song. And I was so dead set on some of these like pre-chorus lines that I think you ended up changing a little bit of the music to fit it a little bit towards the end, because it was going to be called Party on the Radio, I think. And then you also encouraged me to put some whoa whoas and oh ohs in there. So half the chorus is Party's Over and half the chorus is some gang whoa woes.
I can never get enough whoa woes.
No, you can't.
Everybody loves it.
Maybe some hand claps too would be good.
Oh yeah, snaps.
All right, we are on to the last track, and it kind of sums it all up. United in Metal. Ryan, tell us about that one.
Yeah, well, I've been talking about wanting to write a Still of the Night. I need an anthem. And then this guy comes up with this Keel masterpiece. And it's like, if this were released in 1985 or 6, it'd be right alongside The Right to Rock. I mean, it's the chorus kind of says it all. The title says it all. It's huge. It's anthemic. There's other band references there. We kind of like machine gun vocal out at the end as an outro. That's one where it was in my head and in his head for so long when we were writing this thing that I was fuck this song. I can't take it anymore. But it's a cool anthem that'll get stuck in your head.
Okay.
So one day I was driving in my car, and All We Are comes on by Warlock, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna write something that's like that. So I wrote the chorus of the song. It totally inspired by Warlock, All We Are. And then Ryan took over the rest. He wrote all the other lyrics. And that's kind of how it happened. Well, the chorus is very obnoxious with the voices. We did a ton of voices, and actually it's even dialed down some from what it was like. It was really crazy, like the way Keel has those overpowering vocals in a chorus. Right. And there was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, Ryan kind of alluded to it. Is that like, it gets stuck in your head. As the guy that was kind of piecing this together and all producing it and everything, I would listen to a song like 10 times in a row, just looking for like a mistake or right. This has got to be louder. Dude, I'd wake up in the night and I'd have this shit just like going in my head, making me nuts. You know what I mean? And that's one of the downsides of producing it all, is because you listen to it like a jillion times. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When you hear musicians talk about, like, by the end of recording, they're so close to it, it's hard to even be objective because they've listened to it so many times and picked over it. So I'm sure. Okay, so that gets us to the end of 10 tracks. So here, and I might be surprising you with this question, and I know an album, even though I've never made one, I imagine it's like having children and you can't pick your best. But let's say somebody said, look, I'm thinking about trying out your album. Give me 3 songs that I should start with. Could you recommend 3 to the fan who has never heard of you guys? Ryan, I'll start with you.
Yeah, Heavy Metal Rambo, because that's just a staple. I'd have to go with that one. For just like the feel that there's maybe something different in there. Don't Tell Me No.
Okay.
And then, it's tough. Probably The Fighters.
Okay. Okay. Metal Mike, could you do it?
Yeah, I gotta go Headbangers Ball. Heavy Metal Rambo. Those are like the 1-2 punch right at the beginning. And then I'm gonna go with Your Last Breath because as we talked about it, I think that's a pretty cool track, very creative, got a heavy riff. It kind of, it's a big piece of what we do. So
Sure. Okay. Okay, I think I'd be pretty idiotic if I didn't ask this question. Let's say somebody hears this fucking thing and was like, look, you guys are talented. I want to sign you to Frontiers says, I want to sign you to a record deal. I'm going to give you your shot. What would you say?
Well, for me, yeah, for me, I've always honestly been like, I'm good at a blueprint. Like I could give this to Joe Elliott and be like, make it killer. You know what I mean? Like in terms of me, Mike's part's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's just probably like me hearing it and being like, I don't like the sound of my own shit.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can write it and I can give it to someone and they can, they could be a Robin McCauley and make it really killer. You know what I mean? Or a Kip Winger. Sure. But really, like, I appreciate how complimentary you are of this. I would consult with my musical partner, and I would say, "Do you want to be on Metalkast Records, which is killer, or do you want to do
we're
something?"
pumping out the disc, man.
But I mean, obviously, it would be awesome. I would be flattered and honored if that was the case.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a no-brainer. Yes, of course. But I think one cool thing that I can say for us is that, are we the greatest songwriters or musicians on the planet? No. Did we have a lot of fun? Yes. Did we create a quality project? Yes. You know what I mean? We're putting ourselves out there. It's very scary. You know what I mean? It's like it's subjective. Somebody's going to say, "Oh, this is terrible. This is great. This is awesome." It's scary to put yourself out there. In what you do, Guru, you get all kinds of comments of all kinds of crazy people that they love it or they hate it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of scary. But at least we put ourselves out there. We've opened ourselves to opportunities potentially, like we could potentially write for people if somebody wanted us to. I could produce someone if I wanted to. You know what I mean? We're showing what our skills are. If people just enjoy listening to this, that's great. That was the whole objective. But if there's other things that would ever come out of it, that's great. If not, whatever. We had fun and we just made it for the love of music. So
go ahead, Ryan.
I'm going for the whole Ripper Owens thing. So, Slaughter's going to be out of a singer pretty soon here, and they're going to be like,
yeah, got to put yourself out there. No, dead serious. You know what I mean? Like, because what's the alternative? Just sitting back and like writing a song and keeping it to yourself forever. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you have to put yourself out there.
Right, right. And I've said it many times over the course of the channel, like, so many bands put out new albums and I'm like, oh, how come nobody can put out anything that like, is grabbing me or catchy or reminds you of the old days? And I'm like, here, Metalcast, guys who have never met, never been in the same room together are putting out stuff that I'm like, holy shit, this is bringing me back to the glory days of music. So maybe somebody should get you guys to help them in the songwriting department, because I love what you guys did, and I'm so flattered to be a part of it as far as being your guys' friends, and I'm encouraging people to go check this out, and I need to get into where it can be. So where can people find this CD, and is it going to be on streaming and all that stuff as well?
So it's on Spotify. Well, first, Guru, thanks for everything you just said. Let me just say that. I really appreciate the kind words. But yes, it's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's probably Amazon. It's all over. It's all the streaming services. If you want a physical copy, you can get one. You just got to go to the links that are in the videos. You can buy a copy. There's a virtual copy where you can listen to the songs and you can look at the cover and the back cover and the liner notes and all that kind of stuff. And maybe it would be okay if we gave you the links and you could put it in this video. Yep. So, yep. That's how we do it.
The links will be in the description. So yes, I'm I'm getting the CD because I'm a CD kind of guy. So I'm looking forward to my CD coming. Uh, what's next, Ryan? What if you guys have your way? I mean, is this it? Is it a one shot deal, or are we gonna hear more?
No, there's already like 5 new ones in the can. Not in the can, done, but they're getting cooked on right now. I mean, it was a couple days after we kind of finalized this. He's sending me new shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, another killer one. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's way more coming, and it's been such a treat working with you, Mike. And like, it's easy. There's nothing involved in terms of deadlines or financial anything. It's like, dude, I mean, GarageBand for me, it's so easy and simple the way this is working out. So there's absolutely more coming. He comes up with some true to form riffs, and I just want to make sure I can capitalize on that and make myself true to form for him.
Thanks,
Metal Mike,
man. Like I said, yeah.
go ahead.
It was great working with you. Obviously, there's more in the can or more in the hopper, or however you want to put it. I don't think we're gonna rush out and do another CD right away. You know what I
Right.
mean? Let's just try to see where this one goes. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever stop writing music together because I think it was just like I said, we complement each other so well. And I really, like I said, I don't have a ton of lyrical ideas. He does. He doesn't write the kind of riffs that I mean, do you play guitar a little or no? I thought you did a little bit. No. Okay. So you're screwed. You got to work with me.
Yeah.
I play the kazoo and the jug.
Ooh.
And sometimes, and I've said on the channel that I also play the penis bass. Dum, 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 dum. But I do demand to get some sort of background vocals or spoken word parts
Yes.
on the next album.
Yes.
So I'd love to see that. Okay, hey, go to the link in the description. Go buy the CD. Support these guys. They're awesome guys. I love having them on the channel. I've loved watching this process come together from hearing Heavy Metal Rambo first to every time a new song coming out on YouTube, constantly listening to the stuff. You guys are writing songs the right way. I salute you. And with that, it's time to say goodbye. Ryan, thanks a lot for coming on, man. And I'm so excited for you and this project.
Thanks for all the kind words, man, and the support. So I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Metal Mike, you were my inspiration to get started in this channel, and you do this, you wrote a book. I mean, holy shit, you're doing so much amazing stuff. So it's an honor to have you here.
Thanks, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you always the kind words about Metalcast and even having us on to talk about this. I mean, I know you're big time now. You're talking to Johnny D, Greg Jafria, you know what I mean? It's all coming out. So everybody better watch those videos. But no, appreciate you taking the time and always, spreading the word. So
Yeah. Okay. Hey, no problem. Hey, like, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell. Go in the comments and let us know if you have listened to some of the Metalcast songs, your thoughts, and if you plan on purchasing the CD. And hey, whatever you can do to support the channel, I just appreciate you being here. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care of yourselves.